Hello everyone, this is lecture 12, and in this lecture we learn a very basic about HACCP, that is hazard analysis and critical control points. Well, actually there are two additional lecture 13 and 14. In those lectures we learn in details about the HACCP system. In this lecture we'll just have an overall introductory idea about HACCP. Okay, so anyway, so the food companies, okay, they have a legal responsibility to produce safe food. So if they fail to do so, if they fail to produce uh, safe food, they have to face different actions. So such as they may get improvement notices from the authority, which say that okay, so you have this kind of problem, so within by this time you have to fix these problems. Okay, so or they may get prohibition actions notices. That means you have to shut down your company, you cannot produce the foods no longer, or they may have to face the prosecution. They may have to get some punishment. Well, so which kind of actions they have to face depends on the types of problems. Okay, so anyway, so to ensure this one, that to ensure safe food, the producers, they must have to follow some regulations, follow some methods, follow some standard rules. Okay, and there are different authorities, local authorities or international organization. Local authorities means like in USA there is FDA, in Bangladesh we have BSTI, or international organizations such as ISO. Okay, so this kind of authorities or organizations, they set these guidelines. I mean, if if a company want to produce safe food, they need to follow these guidelines. Okay, so although there are different guidelines, so most of the guidelines which are followed in the food industries, they have been actually made based on the HACCP guideline. Okay, so like the FDA guidelines, the current BSTI, also the ISO guidelines, they are basically based on the HACCP guidelines. Okay, so what HACCP is? HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. Okay, so it is a system which looks for and prevents potential problems before they happen, and it may be used by food companies to make sure they do not break the law by putting consumers at risk when producing food. Okay, so HACCP, it is a structured approach to risk assessment and is one means of satisfying the risk assessment requirement of UK hygiene legislation. Okay, so originally it was originated there, but actually nowadays most of the guidelines, international and also locals, they are based on this HACCP guideline. Okay, so what the HACCP system involves. Okay, so basically we can say that what we need to do in the HACCP system. So identify the points. Okay, so identifying points during the production of a product where potential hazards may occur. That means have to identify the points which may cause contamination to the product. Okay, then analyzing the risk of the hazard points happening, including the scale of consequence if they do, deciding which points are critical to consumer safety, implementing controls, monitoring production and taking action if necessary, reviewing the HACCP plan whenever the food operation is altered and on a regular basis, example annually, even if no alterations have been made. Okay, so anyway, so these are the things involved or done in the HACCP system. Well, so as I said, we have two additional lecture 13 and 14, and on those lecture we learn details about this works. Okay, about these things. Okay, anyway, so the HACCP system that a company follow, it should have some qualities. What kind of qualities? It should be systemic, efficient, and on the spot. Systemic means all the potential hazards are identified before there is a problem. It should be efficient, that it concentrates the control effort at the stages where the risk is potentially the highest. Okay, so more, there is more potential of risk, more concentration is needed. Okay, and the HACCP approach should be on the spot. That means the processes can be controlled immediately by the food business. If there is any problem in any point, immediately they should be controlled. Okay, the system or approach of HACCP should be like that. Immediately the problem can be addressed. Okay, so anyway, how does if a company maintain the HACCP, how it help? So HACCP is a method which food businesses can use to ensure that their products do not put consumers at risk, and the details of a HACCP system will vary, as no two businesses are exactly alike, but the principles are the same. Well, the details procedures of HACCP may vary from company to company, okay, based on their product. However, there are some principle of HACCP system. Okay, so actually there are 7 principles of HACCP system, and these principles are same for all the factories, all the industries. Okay, I'll talk about these principles, but before that, what is the main goal of HACCP system? To prevent hazard. Okay, so what is hazard? So hazard is a biological, chemical, or physical agent that is reasonably likely to cause illness or injury in the absence of its control. If the food contains this hazard, they may uh, make the consumer ill or injured. Okay, so in HACCP, hazards refer to the conditions or contaminants in foods that can cause illness or injury to the consumer. Okay, and there are different types of hazards such as biological hazards, example harmful microorganisms, chemical hazards, for example those either naturally occurring or intentionally added or unintentionally added. Okay, physical hazards such as glass, stones, metals, packaging quality, equipment reliability, etc. Okay, so basically biological, chemical, and physical are the hazards, and the packaging quality and equipment reality, they actually reliability, if these are not proper, they increase the risk of hazards. They increase the risk that the food will may contain these hazards even after processing, proper processing. Okay, let's get back to the principles of the HACCP. Okay, so HACCPs, although the details of the HACCP vary among different companies, but there are 7 principles, and these principles are same for all the industry. So these are the 7 principles: hazard analysis, determine the critical control points, CCP, establish critical limits, critical control point monitoring, corrective actions, established verification procedures, and record keeping procedures. Okay, so in the chapter 13 and 14 we'll discuss in details about this 7 principles. Okay, well, now benefits of HACCP. What the benefits will be achieved if industry follow the HACCP. So the preventive approach of HACCP not only improves food safety management but also complements other quality management systems. Okay, so what are the main benefits? These are the main benefits: saves your business money in the long run, avoids you poisoning your customers, food safety standards increase, ensures you are compliant with the law, food quality standards increase, organizes your process to produce safe food, organizes your staff promoting teamwork and efficiency, due diligence, defense in court. Okay, so these are the benefits to the quality management systems achieved by following proper HACCP system. Okay, so thank you for your patience.